Hi everyone, welcome to another edition of Tie Break Sports. I'm Aaron Kumar and I'm delighted to say that once again I'm joined by my good friend and the editor of Cricket World, John Pennington. John, how are you today?
Very well, Aaron. How are you?
Yeah, doing well, John. So quite appropriate talking about cricket because it's been a bit of a record-breaking week, hasn't it, JP?
It has. We have to start with Rohit Sharma, already 264. That's a marvellous innings he scored for India against Sri Lanka a couple of days ago. Absolutely smashing the previous record of 219 in a men's ODI, 229 in a women's ODI. So a marvellous performance, and obviously another crushing win for India, who have really blown Sri Lanka away in this series. But it was very much almost the Rohit Sharma show. Of course, he's only just come back from 3 or 4 months out with a finger injury. A reasonably slow start. He sort of got himself back into the game. I think his 50 came off something like 75 balls, and then to go on and score 264 in 173 balls was quite remarkable. Again, India scoring at more than 400 runs, which they've done 3 or 4 times now, and most of those times it's been on the back of a double century by Sharma or by Tendulkar or by Sehwag. So they are the double century masters. To Rohit Sharma, now the first man, of course, to score more than one.
Well, it's funny, JP, actually, because I think I was trying to find it, but a few years ago I wrote a piece of Cricket World, and it was about, this is before we had a double centurion in ODI cricket, and we were looking at who potentially could get there one day. I think we called it the 4-minute mile of cricket, so it seems quite extraordinary, doesn't it? I think it shows you how the game's constantly evolving, that now 3 guys have done it, and Sharma's done it twice, and 264 is just, that's incredible in a test match, let alone in an ODI, isn't it? It's just unbelievable, really.
Yeah, it is, and it's interesting that Rohit Sharma is the person who's gone on to become the first player to score 2 double centuries, because if you look at him in longer form of the game, yes, he had a very good start to his career in India, but over here in England, he struggled to sort of bat to save tea, yet he's obviously capable of playing all the shots and scoring a double century. But I imagine if you sort of a few years ago, so who's likely to get the first double, who might go on and score 2? You might have sort of said, well, maybe David Warner or Chris Gayle or a Sehwag, of course, who did one. But I don't think many people would have put their hand and said, yeah, Rohit Sharma, he's going to go on and break all the records. So, yeah, it's interesting how cricket has obviously evolved and moved on, but still has that potential, I suppose, to slightly just surprise every once in a while as well.
Definitely, JP. And I've seen that, obviously, we had Sachin get 200, and obviously Sehwag broke the record 219, and Sharma got 209. I saw Virat Kohli saying that he thinks this record, well, it certainly won't be broken anytime soon. I'm inclined to agree with that. I just feel that, as I say, you might get a guy like a Warner come along and make a double hundred or something, but you just feel like 264 to get up there, everything has to go well. You pretty much have to bat the whole innings, and I think it's asking a lot for someone to break that. It may well get broken one day, but I think it'll stand for quite a while.
Yeah, if you look at one-day cricket overall, including all domestic cricket, only Alistair Brown has scored 268 for Surrey. That's the only score more than 264. I think the next best is sort of 240, even down to sort of 220. So there's those two that are a long way clear of everything else. It just goes to show, and there's been something like 13, thousands of ODIs almost. So it really is an outstanding performance, and probably it is going to take something remarkable for that to be even near, let alone better in the future. So well played to Rohit Sharma.
Absolutely, JP. And aside from India, obviously we had the start of a series that we were quite looking forward to, Australia and South Africa, and obviously Australia managed to get the 1-0 lead yesterday, or George Bailey was in the run. So what did you make of that performance, JP?
Yeah, I think they did quite well, because obviously they lost Michael Clarke's hamstring injury now, they lost Brad Haddin as well. So what they're proving here is that they have the strength in depth to cope with that. South Africa are missing JP Duminy. They look a little bit lightweight in the middle order without him in there, although David Miller actually performed quite well. But it was a really good performance from Australia. 32 runs there, to me, I think once they got de Villiers and Miller out, that they won that game. The margin of victory was a little bit closer than it actually appeared, because they were well in control almost throughout the South African run test. So it's a really good result for them. We've got 4 more legs to go. Don't rule the South Africans out or winning 1 or 2, because they're a very good side. A lot of people are tipping them along with Australia and India to win, certainly to be among the favourites for next year's World Cup. So yeah, we could see a bit of a fight match, but for me, Australia looking very, very strong, even without Michael Clarke and Brad Haddin.
Absolutely, JP. And it's interesting you mentioned Michael Clarke and Brad Haddin, because there's a bit of a concern now for Australia with the first test on the horizon against India at the Gabba. If those two are out, I mean, there was a bit of a poll I saw on TV who the fans wanted to be captain, and I saw Steve Smith and Bailey were the favourites. Now, Bailey hasn't been in the test side for a while, but who would you thought, if that did happen, JP, who would your money be on to be the captain?
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. We don't know how serious sort of Michael Clark's injury is, and obviously they'll rest him for the entirety of the ODI series to try and get him back, but they'll have to make a decision on the captaincy. But obviously with Hadi struggling as well, then that possibly rules him out. Yeah, I'm not a great one for bringing somebody in just the captain, so I would probably go with Smith. He's had a remarkable last couple of years or so, really developed as a cricketer, developed as a player, and I think he'd probably be the choice to go for. It's interesting, I was just seeing something this morning that with the test series in mind, Australia are potentially thinking about rescuing Mitchell Johnson as well, which is absolutely fascinating given that we're not that far away from the World Cup. So it just goes to show how even with that test series coming up, they're thinking about resting Mitchell Johnson. So, obviously to avoid any further injuries, because if we lose him, we'll be in big trouble. Let's not forget he's just been named the Cricketer of the Year and the Test Cricketer of the Year. So maybe that's a smart move.
Definitely. Well, that will definitely be one for us to keep our eye on as well, JP. So, I think the fifth India-Sri Lanka game is tomorrow, isn't it? If India win that, I think they'll take the number one ranking back as well. So there's plenty to watch out for.
Plenty to play for, yeah. Busy day tomorrow. So we've got Australia, South Africa, and a few other games as well. So plenty to keep an eye on.
Absolutely, and away from the cricket, JP, we've had obviously the World Tour finals been going on. The final ATP event of the season. We still got the Davis Cup finals. What have been your thoughts on the tournament so far, JP?
Well, I've quite enjoyed it. I've been watching a lot of the sort of evening games getting home after work, and Federer and Djokovic just look miles clear of everybody else. I mean, it took us a while to get to see a three-set game, wasn't it, towards the end of the group stages, and we had obviously that sort of demolition of Andy Murray by Federer, which came as I know we probably didn't think Murray would win, but him to be crushed by that margin was something else. I mean, if you turn up and the very best have a very good day and you have a very poor day, that can happen. It's a little bit like sort of Rohit Sharma and the Sri Lankan bowlers. But no, I think it's a really, really interesting tournament. There's some high quality tennis being played, and looking forward to the semi-finals. What have you made of it, Alex? I know you've really been taking a slightly closer interest than I have.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. I think it's been a good tournament. I mean, the only slight disappointment, perhaps, we had a three-setter yesterday.